There are two arches, one for north, one for south, and when we get inside the arches, you'll see that the first four arches have been left in their original brickwork. The stairs would come down from up on high outside the museum, the Brunel engine house, down to this level, and people on the first day, you have to remember, on the first day in 1843, 50,000 people filed down the staircase above your head. On the first day, 50,000 people filed down the staircase and just had a good time in the stalls and with the entertainers. There were dancers, there were performing horses, there were female acrobats, there were Ethiopian serenaders, Indian dancers. This is a fairground. It's now a railway, but it's a fairground. Literally, people came here in the 19th century in their millions. Not all of them had the courage to walk through the tunnel. But if you did walk through the tunnel, you were one of the brave. Some would walk very, very briskly indeed. Some would run. But if you were really courageous, you would saunter, which is what you're doing. The shopkeepers would remind you, the more you buy, the braver you are. Do you see that? And the braver you are, the more you buy. You do not want to go out the other end at Wapping with a gin flask and a snuff box. You need an armful of things which say louder than words just how slowly, confidently you walked through the tunnel. Before we spend too long looking about the retail opportunity, a reminder of the terrible conditions under which people worked in this tunnel. It's the first tunnel under a river anywhere in the world. Brunel thought it would take 3 years to complete. It actually took 18. The Times called this the Great Bore, which is quite a good joke, because of course they are boring a tunnel under the river, but it took 18 years and people are pretty bored with the story of it not quite being finished yet. This 1,200 feet tunnel was dug in 4-inch strips by men working in semi-darkness with short-handled spades in cages. There were 36 cages. Each man in each cage has a wall of planks. The planks are held in by metal poles. Each man in each cage takes out the top 2 poles, removes the plank, digs to 4 inches, size of a brick, replaces the plank, extends the poles, takes out the one below. Digs to 4 inches, replaces the plank, extends the poles, takes out the one below. Digs to 4 inches. When he's done the whole of the wall, and the man above and below has done the same, then the row of 3 cages are moved forwards. And as they move forwards, bricklayers working behind them build the tunnel walls. And that's the only way you can dig through soft earth. This is an international landmark site because although it was designed to move cargo, this is actually a birth of the tube, not just for London, but for everywhere. This is the birthplace of mass urban transport. The theory is nice. The problem is that those planks, those wooden planks, they kept back the soft earth, but not the water. So the men who were working in the cages were showered with Thames water from the beginning to the end of their shift. Now, that wouldn't be pleasant today, but in 1825, when this work began, in 1825, the Thames is disgusting. The Thames is an open sewer. So they are working in the darkness, showering in sewage. And we don't want to dwell on it too much, but it's dripping down their faces, it's going into their eyes. It is the worst job you can imagine. The worst job. Only 6 men died building this tunnel. 8 men died building the Channel Tunnel. But there is no record of the numbers who died from cholera, typhoid, dysentery, and all the diseases you get, because they weren't just showering in sewage, they were ingesting it. It's hot work, yeah. You know, you're thirsty, you lick your lips, don't you?
Were they paid well?
They were paid very well. I mean, they didn't all live to spend it, but Brunel's core elite were paid £1 a week, which in those days is more than a police inspector. So it's good money. There is a myth that the people who work in tunnels and the people who work in mines are big, strong, stupid men. They are actually big, strong, clever, highly skilled technicians. A whole section of this tunnel was decked out as a ballroom, and they had steam-powered musical organs thrashing out dance tunes, and the Thames Tunnel Waltz was the big hit. This is strictly underwater ballroom. They had a troupe of performing horses. Right. God knows how they got them down here, and I'm not sure what else. And then, sad to say, though the shops did very well, sad to say, people started coming down here for all kinds of different purposes. There were thieves, cut purses, pickpockets, there were all kinds of things going down here, and it became dissolute. And then the shopkeepers, of course, would not renew the leases because they would argue, I'm trying to sell quality ornamental china in Archway 36. Archway 37 is empty, officially, but my customers and I can hear from the darkness next to my shop the unmistakable noise of two people in energetic conversation. It's not good for business. And so they wouldn't renew the lease, and so then they're making less money, they're having fewer visitors, it's become dissolute. The shining avenue of light under the river to Wapping is now a little less shiny and a little less respectable, which is why they launched the world's first underwater fairground, because you don't, forgive me any fairgoers, you don't need a reputation to hold a fair. This is Brunel's most successful project, and the irony is that in his lifetime this was a financial disaster. Although the wonderful thing about Mark Brunel is they asked him how he felt when he finished it, and he, instead of saying tired, he said, "If I did it again, I'd do it better." I mean, respect.